focus today is on the beast and how Russia's invasion of Ukraine plays into these prophecies. The biblical prophecy of the beast begins in the book of Daniel. Together, Daniel and Revelation give you an accurate outline that you undoubtedly did not receive in school. In Daniel 2, we read of an unusual dream that King Nebuchadnezzar had. It's an outline of history given in advance beginning around 600 BC and continuing to this day. Nebuchadnezzar saw a giant image of a man with a head of gold, arms and chest of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet of iron and clay. We see here 4 great empires beginning with Nebuchadnezzar's Babylonian or Chaldean Empire. Now let's see how Daniel explained the dream to Nebuchadnezzar. We read the explanation in Daniel 2 beginning in verse 37. You, O king, are a king of kings, for the God of heaven has given you a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. You are this head of gold. But after you shall arise another kingdom inferior to yours, then another, a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron breaks in pieces and shatters everything. And like iron that crushes, that kingdom will break in pieces and crush all the others. The Bible has specific details revealing the nature of these empires, especially the fourth one. That kingdom of iron was shown by 2 legs. But why are the feet and toes made of a mixture of iron and clay? We'll see the answer in verses 41 to 43. Whereas you saw the feet and toes partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. Yet the strength of the iron shall be in it, just as you saw the iron mixed with ceramic clay. And as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. As you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay. So what does this have to do with your life today? The answer is everything. Europe is composed of different peoples who do not naturally cling to one another, just as iron and clay do not mix. But when 10 kings or leaders give their power over to the beast, they will have the strength of iron. This prophecy will come to pass. Bible prophecy predicted in advance the fall of Babylon, the empire of the Medes and Persians, the rapid conquests of Alexander the Great, the rise of the mighty Roman Empire, and so much more. Daniel 7 describes these same 4 empires, again ending with the coming of the Messiah. But this time he describes them as beasts. What they symbolize is partly explained beginning in chapter 7 and in verse 17 to 18. Those great beasts, which are 4 kings which arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall receive the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. The 4th beast lasts until the coming of Christ. Continuing, thus he said, the 4th beast shall be a 4th kingdom on earth, which shall be different from all other kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, trample it, and break it in pieces. Then the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven shall be given to the people, the saints of the Most High. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. So far, we've seen from the prophecies in Daniel that there will be 4 great empires, starting with the Chaldean Empire and ending with the Roman Empire. And it's at the time of this last empire that God will smash mankind's misguided rule and set up his kingdom. Revelation fills in details that began in Daniel chapter 2 and 7. Daniel saw these kingdoms near the beginning of the first kingdom, but John wrote during the time of the 4th, the Roman Empire. That's why we see in Revelation 13 a composite beast, as Rome had absorbed all the others. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard, His feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. This seven-headed beast represents the seven heads of all four described in Daniel 7. The lion equals Babylon, and it has one head. The bear, Medo-Persia, it also has one head. But when we come to the leopard, the Greco-Macedonian Empire, it has four heads. And the fourth beast, Rome, has one head. So Revelation 13 describes a seven-headed beast, but one head of these seven had a deadly wound that was healed. Notice it in verses 3 through 5. I saw one of the heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world marveled and followed the beast. So they worshiped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Since the deadly wound is healed, it's evident the head that is wounded is the Roman Empire, as it's the one that continues all the way to the end. A deadly wound would come to the Roman Empire, but it would be healed and continue another 42 months. Do you realize, my friends, that this is exactly what history tells us? The Bible sometimes uses what is called a day for a year principle. In this case, 42 months could either refer to literal months or prophetic months using the day for a year principle. Notice over in Ezekiel, the 4th chapter and verse 6, "And when you have completed them, lie again on your right side, then you shall bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. And notice this, I have laid on you a day for each year." This principle is also found in Numbers, the 14th chapter and verse 34. Prophetic months are 30 days as seen by comparisons in Scripture. Therefore, 42 prophetic months equal 1,260 days or years, depending on the context and by what we see happening. Historians generally agree that 476 AD marks the fall of the Western Roman Empire, and we do not see the deadly wound healed 42 months later. What we do see is that the empire restored under Justinian in 554 AD. Four more kingdoms rule under the banner of Rome, with the last being Napoleon's, which ended in 1814. And that's exactly 1,260 years from Justinian's imperial restoration. The Apostle John was given more information about this beast in Revelation 17. But this time the prophecy refers to this Roman beast only during the time when it is ridden by a woman. It shows there would be 7 restored Roman systems, beginning with the 5 who ruled during the 1,260 years. These were the imperial restoration under Justinian in 554 AD, the Carolingian Empire that was started by Charlemagne in 800 AD, the Holy Roman Empire beginning with Charles the Great in 962 AD, and the Habsburg dynasty beginning with Charles V in 1530 AD. And then came the Napoleon Empire from 1804 to 1814. After Napoleon, people thought the Roman Empire was to be no more. But the Bible describes 2 more resurrections, with the 7th being destroyed at the coming of Christ. Revelation 17 begins by describing a church in the form of an immoral woman. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters, with whom the kings of the earth committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth were made drunk with the wine of her fornication." There's much more from this chapter and elsewhere giving specific details regarding this woman, which verse 5 shows is a mother church with harlot daughters. The world will be shocked to see this final system suddenly appear. Continuing in verse 8, "And those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they see the beast that was, and is not, and yet is." In other words, it's not recognized for what it is. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen. That was during the 1260 years. 1 is, referring to Hitler and Mussolini, and the other has not yet come. And when he comes, he must continue a short time. Why is the beast referred to in such cryptic language? Many do not realize that Mussolini's dream was to restore the Roman Empire once again. And there was an agreement with the Pope. Thus, the woman once again rode the beast. Then we come to the 7th and last resurrection of the beast that refuses to go away. Remember that in Nebuchadnezzar's vision, he saw a man with 2 iron legs, whose feet and 10 toes were a mixture of iron and clay. They exist at Christ's return. Now we see in Revelation 17 that there are 10 kings who will make up this 7th Roman Empire and will fight against Christ at his return. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as yet, but they receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and those who are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. You may very well live to see this prophecy come to pass. So how do Russia and Ukraine fit into all of this? We see that there will be one more resurrection of this empire. 10 nations or groups of nations described as kings will form a powerful economic and military force that will rival and surpass the United States. But Europeans have had no interest in building a militarily powerful empire. Then came the Russian invasion of Ukraine. That event has shaken Europeans to the core. The effects of the invasion are setting the stage for this European beast rising a 7th and final time.